Alright, super late start today. And don't get me wrong here, guys, because I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, but I tend to spend at least, I'd say, 2 to 5 hours on editing a day and doing daily videos. It's definitely like a full-time job. It's hard to do, especially when you're not making tons of money off of it. But like I said, I'm loving it so far. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Yeah, most of what you're going to see in this video is actually from yesterday, and then the later half of the video will be from today. But before I get working on alternator stuff, I am going to go take a final stock on what I need on the Eclipse to get that all ordered so I can continue work on that after Wicked Big Meet. So, hope you enjoy the video, folks. Catch you soon. So here's like most of the bolts from the Eclipse, just seeing which ones I should replace with OEM. And there's some more in here, in there. And then I'm also going to get some more of the proper hose clamps like those if they're anywhere near affordable. But yeah, basically done here. I think I know what I need to order, so good to go. Moving on to alternator stuff. Well, the whole objective here is actually to take off this front cover of this alternator and swap it with another one, because I know this alternator is good. It's from a Legacy, which means it should be an 85 amp. This car originally came with a 75 amp, but somebody screwed up the hole on this side of the alternator face, so that bracket is screwy, and that's why this thing was giving me alignment issues and actually burned up a belt. I've got a brand new belt to put on, but I want to fix that first. But I'm realizing I shouldn't take this out first. I should take the other alternator apart first to make sure I can do it. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, well I'm actually going to end up taking apart two alternators because I want the pulley from this one, but this case isn't the same. The screw goes that way, whereas on the Subarus they go that way because this was a DB electric unit. And I want the case from this one, the front half, but you can see this pulley is a little bit chewed up and cracked, and I don't want to risk that. Well, as usual, the raccoon's back there watching me. Or was. Let me see if I can get a shot. Hey! Oh, you just see the ears move. Ah, well, anyway, if you want to see more raccoon, it's in a lot of other videos. So yeah, I'm thinking this should be easy. Well, who really knows, right? Ugh. That's kind of weird. I expected this to be keyed in some way, but it's literally just press fit. There's a front bearing there. So hopefully this one's good. Don't think they're serviceable. Well, you can replace them, but you can't grease them. So hopefully this one's the same. Ooh, slightly different design. Well, it goes in the same amount, so I think it'll be fine. When this is over this shaft, you can see all the threads. This is over this shaft, I only get about 3. So I can't use my nice pretty pulley. So I could just swap the entire internals to this, but I don't even know if that's the same. So fortunately, I have at least 2 more alternators, which I can take a pulley from. So off to fetch more parts. Alright, well I have one more anyway. This one's really graunchy, all locked up. But I'll clean it up. This one has a lock washer. Probably an older design or something. Haha! Alright, so I gotta clean the hell out of this thing. Ooh! I have evaporust. I'm gonna put this in evaporust. See how that works out. Alright, I am gonna clean this up a bit first though. Ugh, it's gonna be a lot of work. Here we go. Not looking so bad overall. But still gonna put it in the evaporust. Also gonna knock down any high spots I created with the hammer real quick. Yeah, these pulleys aren't a particularly high grade of steel, I don't think. See, I just care that it's smooth so that it doesn't rub on the belt or anything. Yeah, we can pretend I never damaged it. That's what I'm trying to get happen. I'm running out of air though. And no power. So this stuff is supposed to evaporate rust. We'll just see about that. It says 1 to 12 hours, so probably won't get that pulley today, but whatever, we can get mostly ready to go. And this stuff is reusable, you just don't put the used stuff back in, you just keep it, so I'll keep it in that jar. Yas. Ooh, cheese threads. Son of a beaver. Oh, doesn't matter because they're hex cap. 8mm hex. Even roll, she's got captain. Now, does this just separate? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I got more than I bargained for. If anybody wanted to know what the inside of an alternator looks like, here's the where the brushes contact, rear bearing, the whole, I think this is called a stator, or a winding. And then, got the inside, dual brushes. Those have got to be a pain to hold back in while you put that thing in. How do you even do that? Guess you'd have to disassemble the back half. But yeah, and the entire, this is the real winding. But, yeah. And this alternator was not working. I don't know why, but it was not charging at all. So I believe it had more to do with the control module probably than the internals, but I still want to use the internals from the known good alternator. Just the front half of the case. So hopefully this isn't pressed in. Alright, well the power finally came back on. My air compressor just shut up. I was looking at how to rebuild these online. I could just use this because apparently these don't go bad. By the way, this is called the rotor. This part's called the stator. But at any rate, this bearing is a little bit grumbly. And I don't think it would be a problem, but you know, there's more wobble than you'd like. So I really don't want to use this one. But I don't know if you can get them out without destroying them. So I'm going to try on this one because I want to clean this case half anyways if I'm going to use it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to put this thing back together real quick since I'm not going to need it for now, or probably ever. Why won't this nut start? Is this the wrong bolt? Like, okay, I guess they even have different threaded bolts. Ever just slightly different size. That's the one I had in the Evaporust. Great. Well, you know, when you buy a non-OEM alternator, none of the parts are going to work for you. Alright, I'm pretty confident that this is just supposed to come out. I don't think it's a press fit. It just gets stuck in there when you tighten it up because there is a backing plate for the bearing that holds the bearing in. Haha! Victory! There's the bearing retaining plate. So hopefully I can even swap out the bearing from my alternator. And there is the rotor. So these can be kept because they rarely go bad. So I want to get into rebuilding my own alternators because you can buy the replacement parts if you find the sources for like, you know, very little money, $5, $10, $15. Rebuild an alternator. So that's cheaper than buying a used one. That's cheaper than rebuilding it, having somebody else rebuild it, and that's cheaper than buying a new one for sure, or rebuilt one. So he's feeding the raccoon over here. So
it's alright. Yeah, it's okay. It's alright. These are pretty good, huh? It's alright. That's it. All gone.
alright, I got more work to do. Moved everything inside because it was getting mighty dark. I didn't realize how late it was already. Like I say, I'm going to take off this bearing plate. Hopefully these bearings just come out by That's weird that one screw is larger. Almost makes me think this was rebuilt. I highly doubt they would use different size screws from the factory. Anyway, I'm hoping I can swap out this bearing without destroying it because I want to use the one from my alternator cover.
Try some dill pickle chips.
Weird. This one has a washer too. There's a bearing. A lot bigger than I thought. Yeah, I think it gets pressed in. I mean, it's not sloppy. It's still pretty firm. Alright, well, I'm going to go grab mine and take it apart. Alright, well, he's petting the raccoon now.
Those good cookies? You like those, huh? Yeah. You like those? Yeah.
So funny when they grab stuff. Alright, well, I was gonna go out and take the alternator off my car, and I was gonna clean this up and start degreasing it, but I realized that I should have the water ready because you're not supposed to let it sit on the aluminum. And, you know, so it's already pitch black out. It's already 10 p.m., so I figure I should probably just start editing now. That way I can go to bed at a reasonable hour and get up earlier and do more work. Well, the car looks pretty clean from afar. It's a lie. But, this is kind of crappy that I just noticed. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on camera. Let's see. Yeah, see that? Look at all these micro cracks in my whole hood. It's a bummer. I mean, there's nothing to do about that but a full repaint. I mean, luckily you don't really notice it from far away because it's kind of a darker color. But it'll probably get more noticeable over time. But I think why that's happening is that like the inner structure kind of separated from this a long time ago. So it flexes a lot. So probably the heat over time has just expanded and contracted enough to cause that. But I mean, this paint job is almost 25 years old, so really can't complain too much. At any rate, I'm going to whip this alternator out. If any of you have not seen how easy it is to take out a Subaru alternator and replace it, go check out my Subaru alternator replacement video. Somebody stripped the threads in this hole. It was the only alternator I had to work with for right now, so that's why I'm swapping out the case. Alright, well, plan for this alternator is pretty much the same as the other one, because I realize now, of course, I could use my cleaner pulley instead of the one that I just cleaned up, but whatever. Anyway, just gonna rip this apart. There she is. Well, the brushes on this one are a lot more worn than the other one. The other one still had holes in them. I don't think they're that easy to swap though, so I probably won't for now. If I was ever going to do that, I'd go for a full rebuild. Still plenty of life. Check this out. This rotor has one contact. It's got a huge rib worn in it. Really bad. This one looks like it's in way better shape. The actual rotor itself doesn't look like it's necessarily in better shape. Not a huge difference. I'll check the bearings, but wow, that commutator, I couldn't think of the word, that commutator is really eating away. Don't know why that would happen. But so I'll probably use this rotor. Which actually, if I'm going to use the other rotor, I don't need to take this out. This thing is just yunk. And so, I'll put it back into this and spray paint this so that I know it's mostly bad parts. You can see what I mean with the brushes being better, much longer, have a hole on it, so you stick a wire through this little hole in the back to hold those in while you put the rotor back in. So here's the good front end and the good rotor. I'm going to set those with the good back end. And probably what I'm going to finish up with tonight is cleaning some of this stuff up, picking my best parts. There's a lot of dust that comes out of the alternator if you blow it out. Watch this. Do not inhale that. Here's how that alternator pulley looks currently. Pretty rust-free. I'm going to wire brush it real quick. Looks pretty good. I'm still going to dunk it more though. Same drill, I won't show the whole thing. Alright, well I think I'm all done for tonight. I got that looking pretty good. I'm not going to paint it just because of heat and I don't have the right paint and it would stick out. You know, the rotor is fairly clean and you know, other than that, as long as the alternator works and I'm done and actually bolts in, I'll be pretty happy. I'm confident I could rebuild one now other than desoldering them. Apparently takes a pretty hot soldering iron. I'd love to replace the brushes, but you have to desolder them and I think you have to take it fully apart to get to them. So not going to do that for today. But at any rate, alright, it's getting pretty late. I don't know exactly what time it is again, but definitely like past 10 I think. And I'm going to finish painting whatever I'm going to paint, and rust removing, cleaning, etc., assembling tomorrow, put it all in the car. So that'll be tomorrow's video. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to check out Finally Churro. He's got a cool channel with some Nissans, 240 and a 300. And don't forget to check out Jake from Rust Belt Garage. He has a 2G Eclipse like mine, except it's the front-wheel drive 420A, but he's been modding that, and he's probably going to turbo it eventually, and that's pretty sweet. So thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate all the comments as always. I'll catch you soon. About to start editing, but first, more ramen and egg. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Alright, I lied. Motion Auto TV and ramen and egg. And then editing.